Turning now to Syria, where the mass bloodshed has reportedly claimed another 29 lives. It's all prompting a widening European sanctions against Syrian officials and fueling fierce backlash against Arab League observers for not putting a stop to the brutality. CNN's Arwa Damon was in Homs today, ground zero of the current crisis.
People in Homs no longer flinch when they hear gunfire. What was once terrifying is now just routine. Trash lines the street. Most shops are shut. Those open don't have power. Homs was once a thriving metropolis. Now it's the epicenter of clashes between government and opposition forces. There are fortified military positions on just about every street corner. It's tragic, awful. These two women who don't want to be named tell us kidnappings, killings, gunfire. They won't say who is to blame, but their lives are now a never-ending cycle of fear and uncertainty. Emotions that we find everywhere we go in Homs, on all sides, and among those caught in the middle. We're in a predominantly Christian neighborhood on a tour organized by the government. Our escorts say it's one of the few that remains relatively safe.
This couple, they own this shop, and they're saying that this type of ongoing gunfire that we're hearing around us has become perfectly normal. But they're really very confined as to where they can go. I mean, less than a 2-minute walk up the road, they're saying that's where the clashes are taking place.
But many in Homs don't even want to be identified. Some government supporters say they fear what they call armed gangs and don't want to appear on camera. Nor does this young woman who says she is with the opposition. No one dares to talk, she claims. You're not seeing the truth here. There are plainclothes government security listening. Down another road, we see bullet holes in a building. Anti-government graffiti painted over. We're told not to advance any further. That part of town is controlled by what the government and its supporters call terrorists, what the opposition calls the Free Syrian Army. Made up mainly of military deserters, it's having a growing impact. At the military hospital nearby, a funeral for 3 members of the security forces. Hospital officials tell us that on average, 5 soldiers are dying a day. Another 30 are wounded. Inside, this 22-year-old soldier is in intensive care with a gunshot wound to the head. We're told he was brought in half an hour before we arrived. This is the hardest period that we have gone through. Dr. Khalil Ibrahim, who has been stationed here for 31 years, tells us the number of casualties, the scale of their injuries, it's been very challenging. Dr. Ibrahim says he would understand a national Syrian opposition, but insists the armed resistance has been hijacked by what he calls external destructive forces. This, without a doubt, is creating fragments within society, he admits. It's a fear felt by many Syrians we meet, whatever their opinions, that the country's divisions are beyond healing. Arwa Damon, CNN, Homs, Syria.
And Arwa is joining us now on the phone. Arwa, we're getting new numbers in. Another 36 people killed today, a third of them in Homs where you were. More than 6,000 now confirmed dead in Syria since the uprising began several months ago. A lot of people are asking me to make sure that you're okay. Tell our viewers in the United States and around the world, Arwa, how you're doing.
We're absolutely fine. And what people need to realize is no matter what it is that we go through as journalists, it is barely a fraction of what the Syrian people are going through, no matter which side of the spectrum they fall on. You just saw that report from Homs, and there are a number of people that we met in that city that are quite frankly caught in the middle of everything. The situation here is so polarized at this point in time. The two sides are so hardened against one another, and there are a number of people that are in the middle of it all. They're the people that we refer to as the silent majority. And they are simply trying to wait, hoping for some sort of political resolution, because at the end of the day, nobody across any side of the spectrum wants to see this country descend into some sort of warfare along whatever lines it may be at the end of the day. But what many people keep pointing out to us is that the longer this drags on, the harder it is going to be to find any sort of a political resolution, if that is, at this point in time, even feasible. And people don't know how to save their own country at this stage, Wolf.
Just be careful over there. Arwa Damon, one of our most courageous journalists on the scene in Syria for us. We'll check back with you tomorrow. Thank you.